The problem of will and limitations. Knowing what we want is easier to confess than our actual doings, or more particularly, the thoughts and feelings we must endure to get through each day. In some respects we simply forget, but there are many thoughts that shock us, and feelings that distress and disturb us, especially if anyone else would know about them. We are thankful for the veil of silence in which this scenario occurs. The problem is this, that what we do not accept or understand, we conceal in the hope that it will disappear. But the act of hiding them from ourselves handicaps us with this secret shame in front of others, especially those closest to us. Keeping silent is not the same as truly forgetting. The decision to conceal has the effects of fixing the memory, like taking a photo, not to remember the moment but to forget it. This paradox is the cause behind many hesitant moments which we know as self-doubt, but which manifests as an incomprehensible anxiety, seeming from nowhere, which unsettles us even more. The inability to even speak about these matters augments our sense of insignificance, of mediocrity. Ultimately, what we do not accept about ourselves hinders and blocks our sense of self-worth, which creates a vacuum of emptiness in us, a bad feeling with no name. We can't be speaking about every nasty feeling or thought we experience in a day. Who truly has time to squander listening to what is essentially inconsequential? At the same time, who can really be fully responsible for so many of these unbidden thoughts, feelings and impulses? The task is to redeem the person from believing that this realm constitutes who they really are. Frustrations and limitations can produce nasty thoughts as easily as a need without hope of fulfillment, even the disillusion of a cherished expectation. These powerful forces can even become an obsession, a compensation for helplessness, but have the effect of isolating us, even in a team situation, in the middle of a meeting, or at home seated at a table with the family present. This phenomenon is most easily seen in the behavior of children at play, or otherwise at school, home, or at the shops, because they have not yet learned to conceal or censor their thoughts and feelings. All the negative elements that surface relate to their frustration at the hindrance of their will. A sudden flare of anger, together with striking another child in their way, releases the pressure. Not immediately receiving what they want or even feel is their property leads to the nasty thoughts and strong emotions which erupt as a tantrum of protest. These sometimes frequent moments mark that fork in the road which adults teach makes the difference between good and bad behavior. The good child obeys and conforms with the command of the adult. The bad child argues and rebels, whether in the form of a tantrum or a sneaky and subversive stealth. A child's self-image is made of these good and bad moments, which cast the sum total into its future. For both the good and the bad child, self-pity can flourish as the blame is sought elsewhere and a brooding resentment festers, secret and ever-present, which can become a spiteful attack on some other child, or as jealousy, bullying, even as a chronic depression. The desire for revenge can manifest years later. Deviant behavior can also manifest as control dramas, and the manipulation of others, cruelty, lying, stealing, even smart-mouthed backchat that becomes a habitual reaction to unrelenting limitations well beyond childhood. Unfortunately, few respond to their limitations creatively, compromising the primal goal of their desires by seeking another route. For most, not receiving what they want causes them to believe that all is lost, which in turn brings the negative emotions to the boil. Philosophically speaking, this dilemma is defined as selfish behavior in a child, but as an existential crisis in an adult. The pressure of meaninglessness and absurd suffering. Buddhism teaches the way of detachment through conscious awareness and the discipline of meditation. Christianity offers forgiveness and advocates a non-judgmental approach to the errors and ailments of others, to rather comfort, serve and set them free. This is, of course, according to Jesus. He also forbade retaliation and retribution. Those who live by the sword shall die by the sword. So much for that. People generally are not that lofty or kind to wrongdoers, hence the compulsion to hide, conceal and suppress secrets, which keeps them victims of shame and imprisoned in guilt for fear of judgment. We only feel shame for those thoughts and feelings which we do not understand and cannot accept about ourselves. Guilt when we have lied about it, that is, concealed it. For a child, learning self-control without rancor is the beginning of adulthood. But learning not to suppress or deny the truth of our reality, choosing the way of humility over pride, is the beginning of wisdom.